Hello, social media family. So I have approximately 1.9 plus million stories to share. My dad told me I should write a book. I am sharing it with you on social media. And here is yet another experience of mine. So it's almost as if he's trying to taunt me. He's doing it to taunt me. The dude that huh, this is so interesting. The first dude that I crushed on and told him I had a crush on him outside of the internet, because I'll tell somebody online like, hey, I find you attractive and stuff like that, but that's like it's online. But this was the first time I did it for somebody in person, and it was in college. And he, gorgeous, beautiful chocolate man, chocolate, and openly gay, which really got me because I was like, of course, not openly gay immediately, but I just admired him so much, and the fact that he was openly, he was totally masculine, if you will, and totally all of that beautiful, deep voice. In speaking with a friend of mine years ago, I was like, oh, and he's so fine and he's so well spoken. My friend told me, he's like, that is a very classist, elitist thing to say. And I'm like, why is it that? And eh, he said it's kind of because to call somebody well spoken because they speak King George's jive well is like implying that other people aren't good, even though they might be better communicators. They just don't speak King George's jive. Okay, okay. That aside, he is, he's very intelligent, very clean speaking, I guess. I don't know what else to say. But he was all of that and very much 100% openly gay. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy. Ugh. And thought that I thought that was really cool. I was kind of slurring like a drunk right there. But anyway. So as far as that is concerned with him, oh, yeah, the reason I'm doing this video is he recently, and taunting me, he's taunting me on his Facebook because I follow him on Facebook. I guess he follows me probably just because he years ago he forgot that he did, and it's like I guess I don't post enough on Facebook for him to be like, why am I following this bitch? No. Although I I think the way Facebook works is the only way that you'll be able to be someone's friend is if they too are your friend. So I assume that he still follows me. Maybe it's just because he just doesn't hate me. I don't know. But anyway, he did a post on his Facebook deep kissing his boyfriend, talking about how in the photo he's like, I'm happy. I'm happy. And I love love. I love love. I am always happy whenever somebody's happy and all of that. I how okay, how did I approach him? Being the first dude that I crushed on that I didn't meet on online. I was going to say social media, but at that time, social media wasn't really a thing. I date myself all the time, people. I'm an early 80s baby. I was in college in the early 2000s. Sorry. Okay. And, but yeah, for me, social media at that time was Yahoo Instant Messenger. Shouts out to anybody who remembers that. Anyway, but I just thought he was so beautiful and I was very much attracted to him. And I remember like a little grade school girl, I wrote him a letter on a piece of paper and handed it to him. And this was he's 1 year younger than me. And so it was my sophomore year, his freshman year at Howard. And I handed it to him, and we were in the marching band on the marching band trip, and he didn't respond. I was like, "Do you? I like you. Do you like me? Why in circle one, circle circle one?" And he opted to circle none. Okay, I should possibly be thankful for that. But he later on told me why he what was going on with him, and because when we first became Facebook friends, I told him, I was like, I really had a crush on you. What did you think when I handed you that letter while we were on the marching band trip? And I particularly mentioned the fact that we were at Howard. It was my sophomore year and his freshman year, and the marching band. So those in the know what I'm about to say. But what he explained to me is he was like, I was online pledging my section in the marching band. I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to get my line beaten, so I just didn't know what to, I was just like, oh, okay, and just kept it to myself. I think though that was a nice way of him saying, you're not my type. He's just not that into me. Quit chasing and face the T. This ain't meant to discourage. Don't keep giving him your all. So yes, he just wasn't that into me. But what he said is he was like, yeah, because I was pledging my section. Yeah. He pledged, and this is attractive to me. Like for those in the know about the whole pledge process, I think he had line brothers while he pledged his section in the marching band, which was freshman year, but he also pledged Kappa Kappa Psi, and he did it all by himself as an openly gay man. And I was like, wow, I know they must be hmm, giving him a hard time in the pledge process. And the fact that he overcame and still crossed, I'm like, yes. And he went on to pledge Omega Psi Phi. So anyway, and speaking of Omega Psi Phi, there's another. I that's so interesting. I don't know if it had something to do with people having more of a presence on campus, but I had a real crush on this dude who's now a lawyer who pledged Omega Psi Phi, and we were in the same class while he was pledging, and we were in a study group, and it was something that he did or was doing, and I was like, as somebody who's in the know about this situation, If I didn't know any better, I would say you were pledging. Might I be correct? And of course, he was. Well, yeah, but say no more, because we were like in a study group. Well, the two of us studying together. Again, I was crushing on him for real though. That brother. Oh gosh. See, I am glad that this generation of people can be more openly themselves. And it's not so much a thing that you have to try to keep a secret, and we can openly be whoever we are now, more so than before, more so than before. And because, yes, I acknowledge there are many opportunities that I could have connected with a love of my life. Now, he's a heterosexual man. He's married to a woman, happily, beautifully married to a beautiful woman, and blah, blah, blah. But there are other opportunities that I had that I could have taken advantage of, but I was afraid to be myself. Anyway, but back to him. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because that dude that I was crushing on in college, um, first of all, Amory's son, yes, and this I date myself all the time. But Amory's song "Why Don't We Fall in Love" was new at that time, and I love that song particularly because that song uses a saxophone riff or something that it repeats all throughout the song. And the dude that I'm telling y'all about, well, the first dude I'm telling y'all, I have so many dudes. Yeah. He is a saxophone player. In the marching band, he played the saxophone. And I particularly love that song because I would imagine him playing the saxophone to me. Why don't we fall in love? I did some deliberate attempts at modulation there, and I realized in retrospect or in during that time spect that it would really have the song not sound like the song itself anyway. But yes, I loved that song and well, largely because of that with him. Anyway, another thing about him, I mm, y'all know I came out to my mom when I was mm, I think that this is about to make me sound desperate and ridiculous. But I came out to my mom right before she passed away. No, 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 no. Not right, like a year before she passed away. And because she passed away when I was 22. And I came out to her when I was like 21. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was crushing on that brother for like a year. So that was like junior year slash pre-junior year because quiet as it's kept, quiet as it's kept. Actually, I'm not going to tell that because that's something private that I might take to my grave since nobody else knows who is. Anyway, but yeah. So I told my mom like after I came out to my mom and I was like, Mom, guess what? I have this dude that I have a crush on, and I would love to show you a photo of him because I think he is so beautiful. And guess what I did? Guess what I did? Seeming like the most thirsty, desperate brother out there. I remember I I went on. I don't think it was Facebook. Maybe it was Facebook. I don't know, somewhere. And I printed out a color photo of his from the internet. And I showed it to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I'm crushing on this guy." And my mom was like, "Okay, Aaron, wonderful. I am happy. I am happy that you're happy." And she was like, "Yes, he is attractive." And I realized, like, in retrospect of years later, that I'm like, that was probably pretty creepy to my mom to be like, "Mommy, ooh, yeah." Just saying that kind of hit me. But to be like, "I have a crush on this guy, and let me show you him. I have a photo that I can print out. I have a photo that I can print out for you." And it was like, "Oh, thank you." Well, that's so nice that you have a photo, not a photo that he gave me of himself, not a photo that, although, see, that was also before the days of, like, se- cell phones had cameras at that point, but the cameras on cell phones were like novelty cameras at that point, and it was just, it wasn't a big deal. It was like, oh, it's a camera just for the sake of saying, oh, you have a camera and you can take the world's grainiest photo of anything and it will look awful. And that, anyway, all of that to say, if it was a different generation, maybe I would have been able to screenshot his photo to show my mom, like, hey, I got this on a screenshot. And it might have been able to think like, oh, well, maybe he took that photo for Aaron or gave that photo to Aaron. I'd be like, who knows? But I actually gave a color printout of him. And, but anyway, he's in love now and he's found his connection and he's happy. And I saw somebody on Instagram today. I know, like, to repeat this, whatever, but that just shows you where I am. And I pray Viola's prayer. Viola's prayer is a constant thing for me. It's a mindset. It's a heart set. Okay, for a gorgeous chocolate black man to love me romantically for the rest of my life forever as I love him romantically for the rest of his life forever. That's just a state of the heart right there. That's me. And yeah, so it might have been cute. It might have, my mom might have seen it and been like, my son might be a little bit demented, printing out a photo of a man that he's like, I love this guy. Not I love this guy, but I really like, anyway. 19 minutes. I'm going to try to not have us reach 20 minutes. So I'm going to end it, and other things will be a part of another story. Like I said, my dad said I should write a book. I might, I don't know if I might, but I get it. I get it. And it is something that has gone into my mindset. Anyway, talk to y'all later, social media family. Peace. T. Stay blessed.